Before Philip can conciliate the affections of the natives, in 1789, disaster strikes.
An extraordinary calamity was now observed among the natives. Repeated accounts brought by our boats are finding bodies of the Indians in all the coves and inlets of the harbour. Pustules, similar to those occasioned by smallpox, were thickly spread on the bodies. But how a disease could at once have introduced itself and then spread so widely seemed inexplicable. What can tell?
How did it come to Australia? I think there's such a debate and there's such speculation that we can't know definitively, but in my own mind, it's clear that it came with the First Fleet.
It's sometimes said, more often believed, that the smallpox was let loose by the British at that point in time to destroy the possibility of Aboriginal resistance. I simply can't comprehend that notion at all. In all the accounts, there is bewilderment, despair, horror in the British accounts as they see that smallpox is loose among the native population.
The excavations in the rocks were filled with putrid bodies who had fallen victims to the disorder. Not a living person was anywhere to be met with. It seems as if, flying from the contagion, they had left the dead to bury the dead. He lifted up his hands and eyes in silent agony for some time. At last he exclaimed, "All dead, all dead," and then hung his head in mournful silence. David Collins, Judge Advocate.
None of the whites are affected by it, as they are immune to it.
England were masters, and the first masters of germ warfare. They've already released it through India. They tried it in the Americas. They released it in the West Indies, and they brought it here.
Some say it came from the north of the continent, brought by Macassan fishermen and arrived coincidentally just after the British. Whatever the source, it wipes out the great majority of the first Australians in the Sydney region. Terrified, some survivors flee from the epidemic and carry the disease further, where it makes its remorseless journey from clan to clan.